Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to preview round 17. Yeah, round 17 of the 2024 SuperCoach season. Don't know why I couldn't think of that. It is here in the right hand side of the screen. Just a complete meltdown to start the video. But I guess what I wanted to actually start the video with was a bit of a shout out to everyone who's got around the channel. So if I just flick over to the dashboard, you can see there we've cracked 400 subscribers. So thanks for everyone getting on board. Hopefully, even though I have sort of, dropped back a bit this week or the last couple of weeks, I suppose, in terms of the videos being churned out, and there might be a bit of interruption in the coming weeks as well. I do appreciate everyone getting involved. So yeah, just wanted to say thanks for that, and we'll get straight in to our preview. So as usual, we'll start with the most common trade-ins and trade-outs. Number one trade-in this week, Fletcher Sharp. So probably the last of the sort of money-making cheapies we can grab a hold of. Given Kalen Ponga's prognosis, he should be a hold through rounds 19 and 20 as well, which is super handy. So I think, if you are looking to squeeze the last bit of cash before final upgrades, I think Fletcher Sharp is your man, even though he does take up a fullback slot. I think the money could be worth it. Britton Nicker at number 2. So rather surprisingly, I suppose the low break even and relative price is quite good. The Sharks did do pretty well against the Bulldogs in the reverse fixture earlier this year. In saying that, the Bulldogs should be close to full strength. I don't think Stephen Crichton will back up, but other than that, I think just about everyone else is coming back on deck. So, Connor Tracy's out, but Blake Taaffe is a straight swap in there. And Josh Addo-Carr's still a while away. Don't know what I'm talking about, actually. But, I've had him for most of the season. He will cover round 19, but not round 20. So there may be some better options that are more available over the next few weeks. But I guess if you're keeping him for the season, then that's fine. Ronaldo Mulatalo at number 3. So I guess, for Ronaldo, he's been a lot more expensive in the past. Does have that spike game in him, but it is very much a roller coaster. So I'd avoid, but I can see why people would get on. Jarrell Skelton. So a lot of people saw the 92. He's not going to score 92 every week, but I guess he did showcase his upside with that, long range try, the massive hit on, escapes me who he hit, but it was a beauty. Yeah, and just, that sort of stuff. So, his price is a bit expensive. He's not going to play around 19. Might not even make it past this round. I'm not sure how much longer Addo-Carr's out, but Crichton will be back next week, and you imagine Skelton will be the one that makes way at that point. So for that reason, I wouldn't bring in Skelton unless you're basically looking for someone this week, and even then, I wouldn't pay the extra 130. I'd rather get a keeper, try and find the money that way. Might even prefer Ronaldo just for his long-term potential upside. Jermaine Osako, Brian Toto, 5 and 6. So I was going to lump them together being centre wing keeper options, but I think Osako is starting to dip a bit down from keeper option. His main advantage is playing round 19-20. And Brian Toto, it'll be interesting to see if he backs up after the Origin. But with a negative break even, I can see why people want to try and get on. Jack Howarth named on the wing, I'm pretty sure. And it may depend on whether Xavier Coates backs up. I've forgotten the team list already. But definitely a risk. I don't know if he's got a lot of long-term potential, but won't play around 19 either. So I'd prefer a sort of downgrade option at this time that would play around 19. So again, avoiding Jack Howarth. Zach Lomax, he's definitely one on my radar this week. Um, I've got him over Toto just because of the goal kicking. Um, but he has a bit of a knee issue, so I don't know if they'll be cautious there at the Dragons. Definitely, reconsidering that move this week. Joey Manu at number 9, so big break even. Don't know where the value is. Some people might think, oh, playing the Tigers, he's always there, but he won't play around 19 either, which is the other thing to keep in mind with Joey. So, um, yeah, just awkward. I think I'd wait a bit, maybe wait till round 20 if you want to get Manu in for one home. Because I guess as we saw last week, the Tigers matchup isn't that much of an advantage anymore. I don't really think there is a team you can target the way the competition's going. It's very much, teams on their day. So therefore, you're better off targeting, um, the players that will offer overall upside. And Manu does do that to a degree, but at a 118 break even, it's not this week. Eli Katoa, so I guess, bringing in a keeper, you could do that. Coruscant and Finu, big ticks to both. They'll cover around 1920. Also, Finu, maybe sort of one you have to trade out after. But I think Coruscant you can keep for the season as your second hooker. So on the trade outs list, Fa'alonga at number 1, on the extended reserve. So looks like, he's really just the backup fullback at this stage. So that's fine. Hopewadi, I think a lot of people are trading him out for Fletcher Sharp, which I don't mind that move. He's made 190k essentially. So, his rate of cash increase is less than Sharp's, and also Hopewadi will miss. No, I know he should play around 19 and 20 because he's on the bye this week. So, yeah, I mean, you can hold, but I think you can trade as well if you're looking to, like I said, squeeze this last bit of cash. Armstrong, I think, you can trade out. He's on the extended reserve. The chat is they sort of see him more as a winger, but got a little run at fullback while I think they were waiting for Sharp to come back from injury. So that's fine. Nafahu White, I didn't see the value in him early, and it sort of reverted to the norm. 17 in a game where Terrell May had to play 80 minutes sort of suggests that it's not the greatest option to have. Kai Pierce Ball's an interesting one, so it must be because he's named on the bench, but should play around 19 and 20. So I think if you've got him, I would hold. I wouldn't trade him in unless I guess you're looking for a mid-price sort of option. But given he's not starting, it's very risky. Ruben Garrick on the bye this week. He'll be back next week, so just hold. Jermaine Hopgood, pretty interesting one, I suppose, given we don't know his recovery time. So a lot of money on his head, high-ish break even. So I think, you can. There's probably other options. If you think about, we've got Fafita, Crichton, Katoa. They're the top 3 off the top of my head, but there is a couple other high-ranking options. I'll say Yo, Pat Carrigan, I suppose, if you like that after the Origin. So, plenty of options to slot in for your end of year team at a similar price point. Bench Vujovic, so he has sort of worked his way up to 240k in value. So, if you wanted to upgrade him, makes sense. I don't know if there's a solid downgrade option at the moment, um, unless I guess you're going for an early enough. But yeah, can get rid of him. It's not the biggest issue. Josh Curran, obviously had a rough night out the other night. He'll bounce back. I think his versatility, second row, front row forward, flexibility is going to become very crucial at the back end of the season. when we run out of trades. So I'm holding myself. Blaze Lungy, I think, peaked in price essentially, could hold, could also, use him while he is still playing. I'm leaning towards picking him this week in my team. So, um, yeah, either or. I'm holding, but you can definitely trade out if you want to use the money. Trey Fuller, so I guess not named, so people might be trading down to sharp, but the wrinkle in that is it looks like the Hammer's got an AC joint injury out of Origin, so I will imagine Fuller will just slot into fullback. Um, However, they don't play next week. The Dolphins are on the bye next week, and then obviously round 19, Fuller will be in. Um, so I guess it's really just up to you. If you got cover for round 18 and you're low on trades, you could hold Fuller and then upgrade afterwards. But again, if we're squeezing cash, there's nothing wrong with trading him out for sharp. Morgan Smithies, sort of hasn't really done much when you look at the 68k he's made this year, averaging 48, break even, all that's about there. So yeah, if you can upgrade Smithies, I think that's a go. And we've probably covered the 10, but just quickly, Bostock out injured, so I mean, yeah, break even 82, you can probably cut him. Sean Johnson out injured, big break even. It's going to be ridiculously cheap in a few weeks, but I think by then Hines and Cleary will be back in the radar, so you can get out of him. And Sam Hughes, you can get out of it any time you want. CNK, don't know why he's just a low score last week. Doesn't play around 19, so it could be another downgrade to sharp type option. Captains, I almost forgot, and I'll just swap the captains to the top 10%. See what the serious players are doing. So it looks like a lot of people on James Tedesco, so owned by 70% of the top 10%, and 60% of them have captained him. Is it 60% of the 100? That'd be insane. That's like pretty much everyone that's got Teddy. I mean, against the Tigers, last game of the round, I'm pretty sure makes sense. Angus Crichton, if he backs up, probably a good option too. Lots of Roosters options. Like I guess the Tigers did surprise last week, but also the Roosters did show their form against the Bulldogs, who a lot of people, including myself, obviously as a fan, rate defensively this year, and the Roosters just tore them apart in that first half. um, Jerome Hughes, yeah, I guess if you want to go away from the Roosters, makes sense. Manu, Young, Walker, definitely more pod type options as far as captains go. Dylan Edwards, if you've got him and he backs up, why not? Nico Hines against the Bulldogs. Yeah, if you've got him, it makes sense. Ken VC, though, as you can see, pretty popular VC option. For feeder on the buy, so a few people like me haven't done their trades yet. In Dylan Brown, I mean, yeah, against Newcastle, I don't actually mind that. He's definitely in the VC conversation for me. Zach Lomax as well, if you've got him, why not? The form he's in. And then the VCs. So Eli Katoa is pretty popular against the Raiders, makes sense. Um, Asako against the Dragons, yep, why not? Kiraz against the Sharks, I guess if you want one in the first game, he could be a nice option. Fanua Blake against the Broncos, do expect him to bounce back, so that's fair. Dylan Brown, Ryan Pappenhausen as well, always in the conversation. So, oh, that's the wrong one. I want to go in here. So, I guess I didn't really show much in the round review because it was before lockout. But essentially, I guess the initial trades that I had planned was Fuller out for our man Fletcher Sharp, which obviously frees up a lot of cash. And so then to get Armstrong out and get Lomax in with that lowish break even, given he was on our target. But as we said, since then, Fuller looks like he will play this week. and Lomax may miss. So it's a tricky one, but I think I'm going to go with it anyway. Um, and I guess reason being, I do have a bit of cover in the squad. So if we just swap Gagai out, obviously Drinkwater's coming on field. Um, After that, I think it's pretty well set. Maybe swap. I'll put Nikora on. So let's get a reserve on Harry Grant. So Curran, Finu, Fanor Blake, we're happy with. Crichton needs a reserve. So it's going to get to the stage where we've got, someone like, obviously Dylan Brown is coming in to our calculations. Well, Burton plays the first game, so we'll think about that. But then, we've got Plath and Galvin. One of them is going to miss out if we're playing these guys. Obviously, if Crichton misses, it's a pretty easy switch to Galvin. So, happy enough to run like that. Um, and then, you know, we've now got four keepers of Sarko, Lomax, Kiros, Garrick. Obviously, Garrick out this week. So it's a toss up between Talangi and Hero. And I just think maybe the Dogs' defense is stronger than the Knights. So I'll back Talangi in this week. And then obviously also got Fletcher Sharps. I mean, if you look at the players that are missing out, it could be Smithies becomes our auto emergency nightmare. But also, if Crichton does get a rest, um, we can swing to Galvin as an out. Um, so in terms of captain and vice captain, I think the two players I've got the strongest vibe on is Fanua Blake and Dylan Brown. But with the short turnaround in games, it might be a bit tricky to pull off the loophole, particularly if, like Lomax is a late out. Things like that could upset the apple cart somewhat. So, I mean, do we get on Burton to bounce back against the Sharks? Nicker as VC perhaps? Or do we just search deeper? Zin? Probably not Drinkwater against Penrith. Maybe Lomax against the Dolphins on a Sunday Arvo if he backs up, or a Sarko. I think I might just leave it at that. I definitely think Fanua Blake will bounce back, and the Broncos, with Haas, Carrigan backing up, they did look a little bit flat in that game a few weeks ago against the Sharks. It's a combination of that. I'm almost tempted to just straight see Fanua Blake this week, but I might be able to pull it off where I can have a look, and if need be, we can go with Dylan Brown against the Knights. Yeah, all right, let's go with that anyway for the time being. So we'll wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to get them below the video. Give us a thumbs up, a like if you enjoy the SuperCoach content. Join in with the other 400 that have subscribed if you want to check out all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.